Y'all, first and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the son of Hamashiach, who some call Yahweh, Yeshua, Yehoshua. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. All right. Continue on with our series of, putting the spotlight on these Christian apologists. We're going a little back in time. We're going back about, 5 to 7 years ago. There wasn't many people refuting one with Israelism. Wasn't many people that were coming against Hebrew Israelism, against the doctrine. Wasn't many people dealing with it. And it has spread, in these last couple of years, especially with I think the COVID situation pushed it in the 400 year with the COVID thing, skyrocketed Hebrew Israelism. But before we had the what's that brother name? I forget that brother name, man. I think he wrote that book, Urban Apologetics. Dr. Eric Mason. Doc, I think that's his name. And apologies if that's not your name. But before your Berean TVs, you had the Shield Squad. You had the Shield Squad. And you had apologists against British Israelism. If you were to look into British Israelism, there are several documents, several books that were written refuting British Israelism. Also, if you're interested in that stuff. But anyway, Shield Squad, and it's good to be interested in because you just see a repeat. You see, it's nothing new under the sun. Some of the same tactics being used on both sides. And this is a picture of Shield Squad 2.0. This ain't really the original. This ain't the original. I may have to look up some of that original. It was vocab. Was a brother named G-Con. G-Con still around. He pop in every now and then on certain people panels. He make his rounds every blue moon. He'll pop up. He ended up, last time I seen him, he was into I forget what that's, open theism, where God doesn't really know everything. He kind of maneuvering according to our decisions and so forth. Y'all look that up. Open theism. He was kind of pushed that doctrine, and people was having problems with it. I seen on Berean TV a lot of, some people was having issues with it. It's not something that's just thrown in the air. It does have a little footing. But it is, to me, it's problematic I'm not gonna say in a lot of ways, but in just some things that us wanting to hold God of being omnipresent, and then just us looking at the text, not understanding the way the text was compiled, and understanding that this ain't written like somebody came back and wrote these stories. Some of these things were orally passed down and then written at a certain period. A lot of the stuff rewritten after the Babylonian captivity. But Shield Squad, vocab, G-Con was there. Vocab, vocab still active. Adam is still active, but he kind of be on the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? He not trying to be in their riffraff. Like he ain't trying to be in the smoke. He wants the formal kind of environments. He's not gonna go out here and jump out here in the mud of these debates that we have on these panels, like your JP Uncut and your Berean TV and your Sinettas. Even though I have seen him on Sinetta. Sister Cherry, I tried to look for her But I don't know. She may be gone. I couldn't find nothing on her on YouTube. But she was out there. Far as the language and how Israelites, talk, a lot of it's kind of built. Well, I'm not gonna say it's built up on them. I'm not gonna say that because, we don't see some of these old footages where we were yelling and cussing jokers out. Even back then, back in the early '80s, '90s, but some of these dialogues being so rowdy and all of this stuff, man, it was crazy on her channel. All right, Nissan, I don't know this dude. Tony, I don't know that dude. But it was another dude named G-Man. Oh, yeah. Another dude named G-Man. He was actually going to camps. He would probably be the only one. And G-Man he got some problems, we ain't gonna put that stuff out there. But G-Man the only one that would run up on the camp. He was one of the first ones. He was the first apologist. I'm a put that down like what that Soldier Boy be saying. I was the first to do this. I think G-Man was the first apologist to run up on a camp by himself. I think G-Man was the first one. Yeah, man, and that's saying so much. But yeah, I think G-Man was, man. He up there. I don't think nobody was doing it before him. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Shield Squad. All right. I'm saying that to say that now there is a new, this Shield Squad days are over. All right. And a lot of those folks that were on the Shield Squad, a lot of these folks here kind of just starting out, even vocab. I don't know about Adam, but maybe so. Maybe he kind of just starting out too. But they've been in this thing, that whole time. In refuting one West Israel, they've been battling against Israelism, close to 10 years, if not 10 years plus. So you coming up into this thing. The only two I know active now is Vocab and Adam, but if you coming up in this thing, and you just coming out, you don't need to be dealing with these brothers. You don't need to be getting puffed up and jumping on the channel with these folks. All right, you don't want to be jumping on the panel with these folks. You may not be equipped. They may know the doctrine better than you know the doctrine. And that's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with certain individuals now that just know the doctrine better than a lot of Israelites know the doctrine. They know the doctrine better than 60, 70% of Israelites know the doctrine. I'm gonna show you another, but that was old school. All right, that was old school. We're gonna go into the new school in the TikTok age, in the YouTube debate age, where we're having these formal debates. Now we've monetized the debates. It's a bag. The debating is a bag. You know what I'm saying? That's it, and it ain't just that. That's what the people want. Nobody goes to Wednesday Bible study. Ain't nobody going there. Very few people want to learn about that Bible. And that who going to vacation Bible school? Who going there? Who's signing up for that? That thing be dry. And when you do the lessons, nobody want to hear no lessons. Nobody want to read no Bible. And so, and church has adapted to those things. And Israelites are adapting to it. All right. As the church descends, Israel is descending right behind it. As the world descends, Israel is descending right behind it. Our moral compass is deteriorating with the world's, just not at the same rate, but it is deteriorating also. But let me show y'all this here. This is two other brothers here that we're gonna get into. This brother Dave, and this another brother. I want to say his name was David Bromhill or something, but you'll see their faces. All right, you on TikTok? These jokers. Every time I go on TikTok, they are on there, open panel. Israelites, come on, prove your doctrine. All right. Now, if you believe that Israelites if you believe Gentiles are Israelites, don't go on these folks' panel trying to teach that. Don't go on there. All right, it's a waste of time. You may believe that. Okay? You may believe that, but you're not finna convince them. All right? And you're not gonna cut them. They've heard every angle. They done heard every verse. They done heard all the doctrines from One West. They sit there 4-5 hours a day talking to Israelites. And a lot of the Israelites that get on, a lot of times they're kind of newer. They're kind of newer brothers. That's who has the zeal. That's who thinks they could just jump on anybody panel and start going at people. You got that fire there, you know. But let me go ahead and let this thing play a little bit. Fair use.
And Hebrew Israelite doctrine
This dude name is Dave, though.
and how to address it, or are you a Hebrew Israelite looking to defend what you believe? Today at 5 p.m. Eastern, looking to understand Hebrew Israelite doctrine and how to address it, or are you a Hebrew Israelite looking to defend what you believe? Today at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific, I'll be joining Jim Green on In Context.
Jim Green, we got to talk about him too. Jim Green is a new, hold on, let me let y'all be able to see that. Jim Green is he's a newcomer. And he's kind of made a name for himself dealing with Israelism. And that's how he jumped off the porch. 100 questions for Hebrew Israelites, the hot seat. And that's the thing. They want to put you in the hot. I don't think Jim Green is that strong either scholastically, like biblically, you know. The angle you need to come, the new angle we need to be coming at is eschatology and how they deal with the law. How they deal with the law. How they're celebrating, especially like these holidays. Why they don't keep the Sabbath, dealing with some of the canon laws and some of the church councils, appealing to authority of the church fathers, appealing to the Catholic Church, and even when they doing it unknowingly, you know. But some of the angles, it has to get more scholarly, y'all. The ante's been elevated, like, you know, it's increased. And one of the few people that are increasing, you know, whether y'all want to agree with it or not, is Priest Hakah, Chief Priest Alazar Gorilla Hebrew. All right. They're the only ones going into these other texts. They're the only ones that are, you know, that are willing. Sometimes, matter of fact, I had a clip on that. I didn't put it in here. Hold on.
Like Deacon and
Let me let y'all hear this. Hold on.
Deacon Akkad, Hassad, and Gorilla Hebrew, they'll change their minds and don't use a source again. They'll do that. But with the other camps, they want to stay. The elders taught this, so this is what we're going with.
That's Brother Garfield. We'll talk about him too. But like he was saying, you know, brothers, it seems that the younger leadership is able to say, okay, well, let me not use that no more. All right. And that's why, you know, you seen the brother Priest Hakah do the video on, you know, 50 verses that Israelites have wrong. You know, but some of us are just stuck. Some of us are stuck. Some of us don't want to, you know, and hey, you know, just don't go on these folks' channel with that. They know the doctrine. All right, and it's not hard to, it's not that many verses, to be honest. You think it's a lot, it sounds like it's a lot, but it's really not that many verses. That, especially when it comes to someone saying that Israelites are Gentiles, it may be 4 or 5 verses that brothers will use to try to establish that point. This brother has debated priest Hakah, twice. Actually, when I seen that debate, they were talking about that Achior. That's when I learned about that Achior. He brought out that Achior the Ammonite. And I asked brothers about that Achior. I asked several brothers about that Achior the Ammonite. And priest Hakah didn't answer. None of my brothers answered either. It's just, you can't get around it. Now, I have my suspicions about the book of Judith, but if you hold to that as authoritative, it's going to be hard to get around that Achior the Ammonite. And then you're going to have to apply that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's Judith chapter 9. Really, just the book of Judith. You need to read a couple of chapters up to understand. And it's funny because I think we used to read that Judith 5, where it talks about, I want to say 5:29, where it talks about if Israel keeps their law, then their God is going to be with them. Don't fight them. But if they break the laws, then but then you attack them when they in sin because their God won't defend them. But that Achior, that was him speaking right there, telling, I want to say the Persians, or the Assyrians. It was Assyrians. That's how you go in and you destroy these folks. All right, you wait. You wait till they in sin, and then you attack them because their God won't defend them. And then later you see Judith call for that Achior the Ammonite. And it has some things that are problematic for Israel only, for that Israel only doctrine. All right. But just be careful with that. Again, the law, eschatology, but to come at somebody with eschatology, or to have you got to have your own eschatological view that you can stand on and that you can navigate and show somebody. It can't be where, we say eschatological, talking about end times, and how that looks and how that plays out. And a lot of people are weak with that. A lot of people don't really know, especially Christians. They don't even teach it. They don't teach it. Most Christians ain't thinking about no millennial reign. A lot of Israel 3-4 years ago wasn't thinking about no millennial reign. All right. I have seen these things being introduced of late. That's something that's that we're getting into, but we still kind of all over the place when it comes to eschatology. They're gonna blow up America, and then and then they're gonna kill everybody with the nukes, and then bring them back to life so they can be slaves. Like, come on, y'all. You can't just say this stuff. You gotta lay this stuff out and prove these things through the scriptures. And you can't just be, you can't just be all over the place. You just can't be grabbing stuff that done happened. And you have to look into this. We got to do the work. All right. And if you don't do the work, don't jump on these folks' panels. It doesn't help the movement. And then you end up cussing these folks out and going crazy on them. But you see here in this video, this brother is saying, at 5 o'clock, man, if you a Christian, you want to learn how to refute Hebrew Israelism, come on. If you a Hebrew Israelite and you want to defend, come on. That's how these jokers, this is how these brothers' channels are. The last brother we did his video, Alton Johnson, brother Alton Johnson, go to his channel. Look at his last couple of lives. It's, open panel. Come on, all Israelites, come on up here. Then you got here 100 questions for a Hebrew Israelite. And we got to go back and look at that. And we got to go back and look at that and see, do you have answers? Do you have answers for the 100 questions for the Hebrew Israelites? And we need 100 questions for these Christian apologists. We need to build 100 questions for the the Christian apologists. And I think that brother had another brother on that was writing a book and all this, man. Listen, y'all. And I've been trying to prep us for this.
Jim Green on YouTube, where we'll be discussing these things and having Hebrew Israelites come up.
I think Jim Green is kind of like Alton also, where he will stand on his. I think he had a chart out there at one point. He was out there on the highways, if I was with a chart, or he was saying that this chart was false. He had a fake chart, or like a chart to show that it was false or whatever. But he's still strongest on panels. Don't deal with him on panels. Deal with him one-on-one.
If they so choose to be in the hot seat, join us then.
You don't get on no hot seat where a joker gonna ask you 100 questions and you don't get to ask them no questions. Don't do that. You just want to question my doctrine, but you don't want your doctrine questioned. Don't do that. And somebody got to tell y'all this stuff. You know, your leadership should be telling, if you're in a body, they should be telling you, don't jump on these panels, man. Don't jump on there.
Go ahead.
Was he claiming to be an Israelite?
Shalak, his name D'wayne Bradford. All right. Let me see if I can see what that says back there. In the background, it says, the words in the background says, "You looking for me? Here I go. Hebrew Israelites are wrong. Don't be afraid. No running." That's his channel. That's what he there for all day long. 4-5 hours a day.
Yeah, he's an Israelite. So, you take him to, but to Israel he saith all day long, I have stretched forth my hand unto you, unto
him, the law. And how they deal with the law. I heard him say something like, I'm just paraphrasing what the brother was saying, but he was basically saying we have no dealings with the law. All we have to do is just, walk by the Spirit. But keep pushing him on that. Well, I don't have to. Well, if I'm walking by the Spirit, I ain't gonna murder. So can you murder? No, I ain't got to have nothing to do with none of those laws. Well, can you murder? Well, if I'm walking by the Spirit ain't gonna let me murder. If I'm walking by the Spirit ain't gonna let me be no homosexual. You got to go ahead with the law. What is the law of Christ? All right, different angles. Got to come at it with different angles. Different angles. Y'all throwing the same ball at these folks, man. Pause.
disobedient and gang-saying people.
Y'all trying to throw fastballs every time. Fastball. You got to change it up. It's the art of debate, art of dialogue.
I don't know why they be thinking that they can keep it all. All through it say you couldn't do it. You just couldn't.
That was Isaiah 65, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, now that was me.
See, they confident in that. See that? See, the whole panel confident in that, man. I don't know why they even trying to keep it. You can't keep it. You can't keep it. I don't know why they trying. So, it's close to lawlessness. It's close to lawlessness. But if you go up there trying to prove you an Israelite, trying to say that these Gentiles are Israel, then you're going to fall into their trick bag.
That was I used to be one of them peoples, and look what Jesus did for me.
Man, hey, I understand. I know.
Hey, hold on, Dante. All you have is ad hominems. Ad hominems. You don't have nothing that you can approach me with when it comes to the Bible. All you can do is say that.
We done puffed them up. We did that. We made vocab. Oh, was another brother on there named Abu on that Shield Squad. Been in it for a minute. That really knows that One West history probably better than most One West. Even some of the old elders, like he's you know, it almost seems like an obsession. But he's kind of slowed up as of late, in like the last few years.
That's the only thing you have. You have zero truth. You have zero understanding. So all you can do is attack me personally. That's it. And I got it. I understand you.
Breaking down scriptures with the head covering. Make them explain that.
I understand you. You are, that show, The Biggest Loser. That's it. That's all you got. You got nothing but that.
All right, that was D'wayne Bradford and another brother named David. No, I'm sorry, named Dave. Okay. Don't be just jumping on these folks' panels. Again, we gotta change it up a little bit. I pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all on the next one. Shalom.